dog barking in the background, but this is life. Welcome to another episode of Aligned and Thriving for Teachers. Now, this one is the very first episode in my self-care series. I'm Mel, and yeah, I've got some great news to tell you. I am now a fully qualified self-care coach. What that means is because I have all this spare time in my extensive teacher spare time, I just decided to do some work so that I had some more expertise in the area. So you don't just think I'm making this stuff up. But we're all learners, aren't we? We keep growing. And I didn't just want to live self care, I wanted to actually know the science behind it too. So if you're ready to go from, I know I should take care of myself, to I'm actually taking care of myself, then this episode and the start of this series, this is going to be for you. So, what actually is self care? In Mel terms, let's get this clear. Self care isn't selfish, it's survival. Self care is intentionally doing things that recharge your energy, regulate your nervous system, and remind you that you're a human, not just a to-do list on legs. It's not all bubble baths and candles, unless that's what works for you, but it's more the habits, mindset, and daily check-ins that help you to cope and thrive. I hope that makes sense. So let's look at some facts. Most Australians actually agree that self-care is important, but many of us all struggle to do it. A 2022 report from the Consumer Healthcare Products Australia actually showed that Aussies want to take better care of themselves, but they're stuck. They don't have the tools or the support. Relationships Australia in 2020 found that 71% of people practice or say that they practice self-care, but most of them don't have a regular or an effective routine. So it is obvious that the gap is there. We clearly value self-care, but we don't know where to start and we don't know what it might actually look like. Okay, so let's talk stress. How does stress actually show up in your body? So if you think you're not actually dealing with it, your body actually is. And I'm not just saying that from my coach perspective. I've actually lived this. So stress can show up as many things, but physically, you might have something like skin conditions like eczema. I know when I'm going through a deep moment of stress, that's when I have really bad eczema through my hair. It looks like really bad dandruff and it's disgusting. TMI for you, but that is how my body will physically show me that it is feeling stressed and I'm clearly not dealing with it properly. You might get stomach ulcers or mouth ulcers. I know, and sorry, mum, for sharing, but when my mum would start getting stressed, she would actually start getting mouth ulcers or cold sores. So you might get those physical conditions. You might get it instantly, like have the rapid beating heart rate, have a tight chest. You might have insomnia. You might really struggle to sleep or turn your mind off. I remember those times when I had a really bad go working at a school when back in the time when I was probably turning up to work every day and getting hit, kicked, punched, bitten, all of the things that I struggled to sleep and I needed assistance to sleep. So I needed to take sleeping tablets basically to help me sleep. So that's something that might show. Or you might be constantly getting sick or fighting that constant fatigue. Excuse me. Been a long day. But I've been there. I've done that, and I've actually got the rash and the horrible dandruffy look in my hair to prove it. So when you don't process your emotions, they don't just disappear. They don't just go poof. I mean, we all pretend like they do, but they actually get stored physically in your body, and eventually it basically demands your attention. You have to do something about it. You have to actually clear these things up within your mind to help heal your body. Okay. So our response is self-care. What do? We don't numb. Okay. We don't ignore it. We don't pretend that it's not there. We don't avoid it. We have to build ourselves a toolkit, a self-care one. So what does this actually mean? Like what? Oh, Mel, what do you want about? You've got this qualification now. What are you going to tell me? Well, what this actually means is something that I have been doing myself and I have studied over the last couple of, about the last 12 months, is starting with breath work. And yes, I am talking about breath work as in, I talked about it in my 5 hacks, that you breathe in for 3, you can breathe out for 3. It is actually focusing on your breath because that helps distract and clear your mind. The other thing is meditation. I've found some really good apps that can help you with meditation. You might use Smiling Mind. I actually pay for an app called Rise and Conquer, run by Georgie Stevenson and her brother Cooper. And I actually follow some of the meditations in there because they're really guided and they're easy. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I had to learn these things too. But it really helps you to stop and focus on you for just that little window of time. Excuse me. And it's checking in with your thoughts. You actually need to stop and think, what am I thinking? It's the metacognition, okay? So thinking about your thinking. So learn about your personal stress signals like, am I getting itchy? Is my heart racing? Oh, my jaw. Am I clenching my jaw again? Oh, my shoulder. Why is my shoulder so sore? Like, are you carrying stress? When you start to build that awareness, you can actually start responding on purpose. Okay. And thinking about what's going on with your body and what your body's physically showing and telling you, and you can stop and think about it and process. Again, it's filling your cup first. You can't pour from an empty cup. I know you've heard it before. I brought in the classic, the aeroplane mask. You have to put your mask on first before you can help others. And I know that that is hard, especially as teachers, mums, partners, whatever you are. But if you are constantly giving from an empty cup, then you're not actually giving. You're just depleting yourself further. And when you get below empty, what's going to happen to you? What's going to happen to your body? Self-care is fuel. It's a way to put stuff back in your tank to fill you back up. You wouldn't expect your car to run without fuel. How do you expect yourself to? Okay, I want to explain the 10-to-1 ratio. There's a wild fact that it takes 10 positive statements to replace just 1 negative. Yep, that's right. Just 1 bad thought in your head or something you say out loud needs 10 good ones to cancel it out. That's 2 whole hands. So you need a mini mindset challenge here. Right now, stop what you are doing. If you're driving, obviously keep driving, but you know what I mean. I want you to think about 10 things that you could say you love about yourself. It could be as simple as, I have nice handwriting, or I made it through today, or I really like my smile. And then you're going to do it again tomorrow. Another 10. Hopefully a different 10 if you can think of that. Because in 7 days, if you do this for 7 days for me, you'll have 70 positives. You'll have rewritten 7 negatives in your life and changing your mindset. That's real mindset work. That is something that if there is one thing you hear from me today and one thing you are going to go and do, it's 10 things you love about you. Or maybe 10 things you love about what you do, because that will help reframe all those negatives that you have been telling yourself or that your mind has been sort of playing and telling yourself to. So, what does self-care actually look like for you? Self-care is personal. For me, it's going to look completely different, but to give you some examples. So for me, it is a bit of a 40-20 rule. So in the morning, I do a workout. I get up early and I do a workout. And it's about 20 minutes. Sometimes I do longer, but the average is 20. And then after that, I will do like some journaling. Please excuse my dog if you just heard her then. She's knocking on the door because she would like to come into my office. So she's just happily interrupting my podcast. Anyway, it is life. Welcome to my world. I might do some journaling. So that might be about 20 minutes. And then there's a bit of meditation time. So a guided meditation, like I talked about before. And I also listen to audiobooks or podcasts while I'm actually working in mum mode. So picture my morning. So I get up at about 4:35. Yes, I'm part of the 5 a.m. club. To me, that works. For you, it might not. But my kids get up early, so I need to get ready before then. So say my alarm goes off 4:35, I'm up. I'm out to my garage. I do my workout. It's usually Pilates inspired or strength, but I do my workout. Then I will go and get myself ready for the day. While I'm doing that, I actually have some meditations that I can do while I'm getting ready. And I listen to those while I'm doing that. And then I will go and pack lunches or whatever else needs to be done. And when I've gotten to that part of the process, I've usually got a little bit of time before I have to go get the kids ready or get them woken up. So that's when I'll do my journaling time. Maybe only about 10 minutes there though. And then I'll be listening to an audiobook, like, what the kids do, one ear pod in, one ear pod out, so I can still hear what's going on and function. But I'm usually listening to that whilst I'm walking around the house, because sometimes I'm obviously the relief coordinator too. So I might get a phone call. So if I've got an ear pod in my ear, I actually hear my phone ringing and I can sort relief out too. So it's a bit of a blessing and curse, really. But I do that. And then once we're ready, and I'll take that, turn my audiobook off, because when we get in the car, the kids want to listen to music. So I change back to my Spotify and off we go. If I'm not listening to an audiobook, it's usually another podcast, learning about more self-development and mind work myself. So that's pretty much my morning. And then overnight, like just before bedtime, I have a diary, which is the other part of my journaling. So another 10 minutes where I'll sort of journal about my day, get it all out. Okay. So get it all out and done and out of my head. And that's just getting all that day's noise out of my head. And then I go to bed and I listen to a sleep meditation. I don't scroll on TikTok or anything else until my eyeballs hurt. I listen to a meditation and that helps me fall asleep. Obviously, sometimes I fall asleep and the earbud is like still in the bed, so I have to find them in the morning. But most of the time, I'm half awake, so I can put them away and then fall into a deep sleep. So that's sort of what I've done to help me with my self care for the whole day, and it's really transformed my own mindset. It's not perfect, but it's real and it works for me. You might also do stuff like doing your nails. Like for me, I do my nails. That's actually really relaxing. Sitting outside in peace. Yep. Just take a moment to process that. Sitting outside in peace. That means that my children have usually given me some space, and maybe also my husband. But we have a beautiful sort of area outside that we can sit and I can just look at nature and be in nature and feel really grounded. So that's a nice space. But for you, it could look different. You could love gardening. Okay. You could love like talking to people, going out for coffee, cooking a meal on your own with the music blasting, dancing around the kitchen. I may also do that too. It may just be switching off from your phone, like no screen time for an hour, or maybe just driving, going for a drive, and doing whatever it is that you need to do that works for you. It might be just saying no to something and staying home instead. So there is no one size fits all. It's just what's going to recharge you and fuel you back up. Another thing that I love to do, as I said, learning about myself, and it might work for you, it might not, but something that I like is morning mantras. So, as I said to you before, like the 10 and 1 method to say 10 things about yourself to get rid of one negative. Another thing is like mantras. In fact, if you come to my house, you'd actually probably see them stuck on my mirror. It's so that I can remember that I'm going to say them to myself. So I say things like, I am enough, or I love myself fiercely. I am grateful for the amazing day I have had today. So I sort of talk more like it's already happened or it's about to happen, not in the past. I always try and focus my mantras like that. Sorry if you can hear me turning a page. I've tried to take notes so that I can keep myself on track. So, the other thing that I do to keep myself on track is recording my affirmations and listening to them in your own voice. So, you're getting that through your head. AI, again, ChatGTP will be a great tool if you're just starting out with developing your morning mantras, because you can ask it to give you a couple and you can just start there and start by saying it out loud and get it into your bones. You are saying it out loud. You are getting it into the universe. You are speaking it out so that you are actually starting to absorb it. It's even better if you can do it into the mirror. It only has to be a couple, and just say it to yourself and set yourself up for the day. Okay? Because it's all part of it. This is all a process and you have to do what works for you. But as I said, I've got my qualification now in this coaching area and learning so much about myself and what I can do to support others. And this is just a little snippet, just a little bit. So, self care, it's a lifestyle. It isn't something that you get around to when everything else is done. It is something that you have to plan for. It is how you thrive. And it all starts with self love, choosing yourself, backing yourself, talking kindly to yourself. There is only one you, and you are so special. And if no one has told you that or you don't hear it enough, I am telling you, you are loved and you are special, and you are going to turn up for those kids in your class. And you might think, oh, they don't think I'm special. They don't care. They do. It may not be every single kid, but if you just think when you're standing there in front of your class or whatever it might be that you do within the education space, you matter. You matter to those children, and you will be that teacher that they are talking about in their future because you matter. Okay, so I need you to remember that. And I'm telling you that now. So this is just the beginning. I'm going to be diving more into some different elements of self care in some upcoming little mini episode type things. And that's what I said at the start. I'm going to talk to you about your boundaries, talk to you about burnout recovery, nervous system resets, how to build a simple, doable routine, just self care for you as a teacher. You might be a parent, partner, just real life stuff that's actually going to be usable to you. I also have started creating some resources to back all of this up, just like little snippets of information for you to refer back to. And I'm going to get to a point too where I'll be able to offer you some coaching session if you actually want some more personalized support. So if those things sound like a really good idea to you, comment, tell me, DM me. My Instagram stuff is down the bottom of the show notes. Tell me what it is that you need and what you need to know. And if you loved listening to this podcast as much as I loved making it, even with all my little interruptions, please click follow so that you get notifications when I launch new episodes and things. You can tag me or share it. So, Aligned and Thriving for Teachers. I would love to hear more from you guys. And I'd love to hear too, what does self-care actually look like for you? Do you have an understanding of what it is or what it is that works for you that you want to share with others that might work for them too? But until next time, breathe deep, talk kind to yourself, and remember you are worthy of care, and it all starts with you. So keep aligning and thriving with me, guys, and I'll talk to you next time.